Content warning. This video contains discussions of mental illnesses, specifically schizophrenia. Inhale and press your hips up and back into downward facing dog. And as you exhale, breathe out psychosis and delusions. Hang on a second. What? Welcome to Scribble Science, the podcast comic that explores the neuroscience behind mental illness to break down the stigma surrounding mental health. Schizophrenia is a mental illness that significantly alters a person's experience of reality. Schizophrenia is relatively rare compared to other mental illnesses, affecting only 1% of people worldwide. However, schizophrenia is among the top 10 global causes of disability due to its severe and often debilitating symptoms. These symptoms fall into three main categories. Positive symptoms, or psychosis, often include hallucinations in the form of hearing voices and delusions, which often manifest as paranoia. Negative symptoms include a loss of motivation or difficulties with social interaction. And cognitive symptoms include disorganized thoughts and poor memory. To make matters worse, schizophrenia is one of the most stigmatized mental illnesses, with the media portraying schizophrenics as violent and dangerous. In fact, one study found that nearly 4 out of 5 people with schizophrenia experience a feeling of alienation from society. So, to fight this alienation by better understanding this illness, let's take a look at the brain behind schizophrenia to see what causes its various symptoms. To do that, we need to go back to our friends the neurotransmitters, the chemical signals that brain cells, called neurons, use to communicate. In the last video, we met glutamate and GABA, which are fast-acting neurotransmitters. Glutamate acts like the accelerator, making electrical signals in the brain go, while GABA acts as the brakes, slowing down or stopping these electrical signals. However, there is another class of neurotransmitters known as modulatory neurotransmitters that act kind of like the road signs of the brain. They impact the direction and speed of a lot of electrical signals, but are less specific than glutamate or GABA. Dopamine is one of these modulatory or road sign neurotransmitters. Dopamine is commonly known as the feel-good neurotransmitter, since it is involved in pleasure and reward. However, the role of dopamine goes far beyond just that. It also impacts the control of movement, memory, and attention. Scientists think that in people with schizophrenia, there are problems in the way their brains release dopamine. Specifically, too much dopamine in some regions of the brain, especially the striatum, leads to psychosis. This is why many antipsychotics are thought to work by blocking dopamine receptors. This means that, despite the fact there is too much dopamine being released, the neurons can't pick up on these signals as well, therefore reducing psychosis. However, there are many unsolved mysteries when it comes to the schizophrenic brain. Too much dopamine alone cannot explain the other symptoms of schizophrenia. One theory is that while there is too much dopamine in some regions of the brain, other frontal areas have too little dopamine, which can contribute to the negative symptoms of schizophrenia. Another idea is that glutamate, the accelerator neurotransmitter, may also have a role in schizophrenia. One of the glutamate receptors, called NMDA, is thought to work less well in people with schizophrenia, and this could lead to psychosis too. In fact, the hallucinations associated with the drug ketamine are thought to be related to its ability to block NMDA receptors. Another problem is that antipsychotic drugs take several weeks to work, even though the reduction in dopamine transmission after treatment with these drugs is much more rapid. This suggests that merely decreasing responses to dopamine is not enough. There may be more complicating rewiring going on that can account for this time lag. These unknowns make treating schizophrenia quite challenging, so scientists are having to think outside of the box and look for alternatives to these traditional antipsychotics. For example, the use of yoga in combination with drug therapy has been shown to be relatively effective in treating schizophrenia, especially the negative symptoms. While there are a lot of unknowns about schizophrenia, it is clear that through dopamine and glutamate imbalances and also rewiring of the brain, the schizophrenic brain causes changes in perceptions of reality. And crucially, through drugs and maybe even a sprinkling of yoga, these delusions and psychosis can often be managed and lived with. And for those without schizophrenia, it's important that we understand these real changes in the brain, so that next time someone with schizophrenia is portrayed as scary or violent or mad, we can start to correct this perception. For more information about schizophrenia or to get help and support for dealing with schizophrenia, go to any of these websites, the links of which are in the description. Also, reaching out to a trusted friend or family member, or getting support from a counsellor or local GP can be crucial when dealing with mental health. Thanks for watching Scribble Science. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more neuroscience goodness.